Hey everyone, my name's Drew, and we're here. This is going to be week number 4 of the Pokemon Battling Association League, and we're up against Zach the WeatherGamer and his Chicago Beartics. Now, this is going to be a really interesting matchup, right? Because we made a whole bunch of different changes up to our team, and funnily enough, a lot of it came because our opponent this week dropped off his team. He wanted to make some team changes. He just wasn't happy with his team overall, so he ended up dropping a couple mons, and as soon as I saw them and the fact that they fit my team really well, I just knew that I had to pick them up. So we both had tier 1 dark types, we both had tier 5 fairy types, and once he dropped them, it just felt like I really wanted to pick them up. So from this week forward, we will be acquiring in our tier 1 slot, we'll be dropping that dragon and acquiring the Urshifu, which is bonkers to me, but I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. And in our tier 5 slot, we're going to unfortunately be dropping the Carbink, but we're going to be picking up a Togetic, which I think is just fantastic for our team, but we're not going to keep him waiting any longer. Unfortunately, we did have to restart just a little bit, but I'm very curious to see his team. We do see the Zygarde, Sylveon, Aerodactyl, what's that thing called? Vikavolt and Virizion. So honestly, the Virizion causes a lot of mismatches for my team. However, he doesn't bring the Kartana, which is incredible to me. That is incredible to me. Which on its own is really interesting because it frees up my Skarmory a lot, right? So my Skarmory kind of had to manage the Kartana as much as it could, but now that it doesn't have to do that, it kind of frees it up to kind of deal with the Virizion a little bit, which means that, well, I don't know, it doesn't give me any guidance for how I'm supposed to lead here, but I'm gonna try to figure out some kind of a lead here. We will be resetting leads from the first go around, but I am really curious. Let's see here. I really honestly want to lead off with... You know what? I'm going to lead off with my Silvally. Now, Silvally is going to be interesting because... Well, so for most of his leads, right? In particular, like the Vikavolt or whatever the case may be, it's going to be slow enough where I'm going to be able to parting shot on it. But my main concern... So this Silvally is unfortunately going to be a defensive set. It's going to be Silvally Dragon, primarily because I really don't switch into Volcanion well, right? So I'm going to do my best to kind of handle the Volcanion by using this Silvally. Now, I would be very surprised against my team if this thing is Scarfed. So I kind of want to just click Parting Shot right away. I think it's going to be my best possible option here. Again, if this thing is Scarfed, I'd be very surprised, but he could get me on a turn 1 Scarf play. That'd be super unfortunate, but it is definitely possible. I do get the Parting Shot off, and I'm not entirely sure how to switch into this, really. I do have... How do I switch into this? I could just try to get off damage with this. Yeah, this might make the most sense here. I do want to get in Tauros eventually, but I think it's going to be a little bit early on, and I don't really... if I'm in a position where I have to play kind of a rock scheme, I really don't want to be put into that position too early on. But the Chandelure is Scarfed. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, it would have been a pretty strong play to want to go into that, the Tauros, because, well, I guess we can just gauge damage here a little bit. The Chandelure is not going to be as strong. It goes for the yawn. Okay, that's not ideal, but the Chandelure is not going to be as strong, is not going to be nearly as strong as I would have liked because, simply put, the Kartana isn't coming, right? So, it's not going to be as... It's not going to pressure the team as much. I do think I can go into... this does make me a little bit soft to the Zygarde, which concerns me, but I do want to get a Toxic off before I do anything else, and then I can kind of maneuver from there. Goes for another Wish, which is totally fair. If he goes for the Wish, then I can... Or, sorry, if he goes for the Yawn, then I can teleport next turn, and I can get a Toxic off on something. I don't think anything really wants to switch into a Toxic. Does go for the Yawn, but this is exactly what the teleport set is meant to do. I'm going to be able to nullify the Yawn a little bit, as well as, well, this thing could also have Heal Bell, right? So this thing could be what? Heal Bell, Yawn, Wish. That'd be a nut set, and Hyper Voice, I guess. But I think at this point, teleport is always going to be my best play, because at the very least, this will ensure that I can get in my Tauros freely. Either he switches out, or I get my Tauros in freely. And regardless, I think it's going to be the optimal play here. Yeah, it does go for another Yawn, but that will allow me to teleport out of here. Now, I do have to be concerned. I think he knows that a really strong. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I should put these back on there. Yeah, no. I think he knows that a really strong Iron Head will be able to kind of manage the Sylveon, but. At the same time, yeah, actually, Body Slam is really free, because assuming that this is a really, yeah, I think this is ultimately going to be the best play. This thing could definitely be Berry. That would be very unfortunate, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal in the world, right? I think getting a big Body Slam off on whatever wants to come in, especially if it happens to be, the Volcanion, expecting me to want a Iron Head. Oh, okay, goes into the Aerodactyl. So I could have gotten an Iron Head off on the Aerodactyl, which would have been pretty nuts here. Let me just see. Against an offensive Aerodactyl, Iron Head would have just been a straight up KO. Body Slam is still a really strong hit here. Body Slam is still a really strong hit here. I could definitely see. Yeah, I think this is ultimately going to be the best play for me overall. I really want to. I mean, I have to manage rocks as best as I can, but that actually pretty much confirms a null bulk Aerodactyl. I'm pretty positive. I'd be really curious if this thing goes for a Fire Fang. This thing could be choiced because it is so no bulk. I can't imagine it needing all of its speed in that way. Because I only do around 50-ish. Like 50 is an exactly down the middle. Is an exact down the middle roll, only because only if it's no bulk. So I'm gonna have to assume that it's no bulk for right now. As I try to figure out kind of how I play this. Goes for a dual wing beat, which puts me in a not bad position. I do want to get rocks up here. If he gets up his own rocks in the situation, actually, does he have any other rockers? He does not. So this would very likely be his rocker. If he gets up his own rocks, then I'd be forced to defog. I really don't. I don't know. Rocks probably hurts his team more than it does mine. Goes for a Thunder Fang. So that's not ideal, but we're doing okay. Again, this thing doesn't have to manage the Kartana anymore, so I'm not really that upset about the position that I'm in right now. Now, if I do go into the Skarmory set, it does look like Body Press at exactly 50%. It should be a roll, but a roll in my favor at exactly 50%. This should be a 75% roll to pick up a KO here, and I have to take it if that's available to me, right? I feel like I just have to take that. Goes for a defog. Okay, so that's going to be interesting, but not having to deal with this Aerodactyl for the remainder of the game is going to be kind of where I want to be in the rest of this matchup. Now, if he does take it. So that's a 25% roll, assuming again no bulk, unless that Tauros got a really high roll, in which case that's definitely possible. It's definitely going to be kind of unfortunate here, but I think I want to get rocks up again. I don't know. I'd be curious to see if he lets this Aerodactyl go down. Goes for another Thunder Fang. But I'm gonna get rocks up again, and he's either going to get more damage onto this thing, or well, I probably should roost. I mean, roosting is probably my optimal play here, right? Because I don't see any scenario where this thing kind of just out damages me, and I think that's. I mean, honestly, I'm honestly just giving him turns to kind of want to bring in his Volcanion, which is going to put me in a not great position. But whatever wants to come in, nothing's going to want to come in on a strong body press from his Skarmory. So We're going to have to see how that works out. But I feel like whatever he would want to bring in, I have pretty solid switches in for, right? And I think... yeah, I think the best course of actions here is to go for another Stealth Rock and then go for another Body Press here. Because I think that's actually going to end up getting me the healthiest possible, because I will be getting 2 rounds of leftovers. And overall, he could try to make some kind of a read and try to prevent rocks from coming up. Although, again, this is always going to allow the Volcano to want to come in, and that is never going to be ideal. But it's just kind of going to have to be how I play this, how I end up playing this. So, okay. Okay, we are here, and like I said, this is what ultimately is going to get me the most amount of HP, because I do get a couple of rounds of leftovers instead of just one if I had just taken a Thunder Wave, a Thunder Fang, and gotten KO'd there. So, Skarmory did his job. Aerodactyl is really, really scary. I've never really played one, especially, obviously, not in this current gen, but we managed a threat, kind of. So now this thing wants to come out here, which is very concerning, but I'm going to have to go out into kind of my dedicated play, which is going to be the Slowbro, right? The Slowbro is absolutely built to kind of take this on. Honestly, that could be kind of bad. I mean, maybe it should have been, I would have been better off just trying to attack to prevent the sub. But we will see the Zygarde. We will see the Zygarde here. And let's just assume... Yeah, I don't quite know what to do with this set yet. I think I just go for an Ice Beam here, right? I think even if this thing is max HP, it should be a 2 KO. And even if this thing wants to Dragon Dance up, I'm going to see if this is just max attack. Well, let's see. At 75%, it's really going to depend on investment, because if it's not max HP, then I always KO with a follow-up Ice Beam. And if this thing is max attack adamant at +1, it shouldn't be doing anywhere. Oh, this was it leftovers? I think it is leftovers. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's totally fair. So it does withdraw. Interesting, interesting. And I will get an Ice Beam onto the Vikavolt. Okay. We get the free... Oh, yikes. Okay. I don't know quite what to do with that. But I feel... I mean, I have to teleport... Well, no, I can't let this thing get damaged. Like, if this thing wants to turn one, unfreeze or thaw, then I can't really let that happen, right? I can't really let that happen. Going into this feels the best here. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like there's nothing really to say. Like, that's not great. I don't like that I got the freeze there. But yeah, obviously webs would be not ideal. And obviously, actually, man, I feel like I have to see what kind of damage I'm doing to a Vikavolt, because I am scarfed, so I just want to be sure that I have the damage that I need. At this range, yeah, it doesn't look like Shadow Ball ever does it, so I feel like I have to click Fire Blast. But getting rid of the Vikavolt is just going to be huge no matter what happens, right? This does allow in the Zygarde. If the Zygarde wants to come in, then I always bring in, honestly, the Sylveon could come in easily. Sylveon potentially gets up a Yawn. I think, yeah, okay. Goes into the Zygarde, and I think, again, that ultimately always means that I go into Slowbro without much of a question here. Because even if it wants to sub up, even if it wants to attack, Slowbro is always going to be a really, really strong play here. Although, again, that Ice Beam is just not what you really want to see. Goes for the 1,000 arrows. Does around a third. I believe this thing is leftovers. I don't exactly remember, but it should be, question mark. Yeah, it is. So it's going to... So against the Zygarde, we're still doing some damage. I kind of think he wants to get out of here. I really kind of want a Toxic here. What would want to come in here? Yeah, I think I just clicked Toxic, right? Well, no, I feel like I just clicked Teleport. I feel like I just clicked Teleport. But I do want to keep a Zygarde calc up here. Oh. I don't know what just happened. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happened. Hey everyone, this is a couple days later, and what ended up happening was he ended up forfeiting the match just because of certain frustrations, like having to reset the match, having to reset leads, ultimately ending up in that freeze that kind of took away one of his best answers to Slowbro, and I think he just kind of was frustrated with the fact that he didn't have the best answers to the Slowbro, so he ended up conceding and went back and forth with a few mods, and we were going to try to replay the match, although that never ended up happening, so I will be awarded the forfeit and the 6-0 win. So this is going to be a third 6-0 win, and it will be 3-1 for the season. So we're just going to take this into next week. We'll be facing up against Chetman99, but with that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back really soon with more weeks of the PBAL and more things to come in the new year. But once again, with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be once again.